Hello, Jesdamail here, or Lady Punchalot. Here, or is it Punches-a-lot? I don't know. I'm here with another story, and this one will be another Final Fantasy XI story. And I remembered this one from the other night. All these stories are flooding back from Aeon and World of Warcraft and stuff, but this one is another one that has Tifa. And what we were doing is we just finished the desert area. And in my mind, if I close my eyes, I can remember how to get there. We just finished the desert area where we were killing goblins to level, and leveling was a grind in that game. So we finished that, and we were going to the next zone. And back in the day, creatures didn't reset properly, like they do nowadays. I shouldn't say properly, because that's how they used to roll. But, so if you, I think you know where this is going. If an enemy spotted you, he would run to the end of the zone with you, stay there for a bit, and then walk back to his spawn point. If anyone else ran by during that time, he would start attacking that person, and it was pretty difficult sometimes. EverQuest did the same thing, I think, because, well, that's another story. But, so, we're in Vent, everybody except for Tifa, because Tifa didn't know any English, and that's another story. 2 stories, actually. And so I remember sitting there, and minding my own business, we're just talking and stuff, and all of a sudden, well, we zoned, and we were waiting on Tifa, who, again, wasn't wearing any pants, because she never wore all her armor. She wore what looked good. And, that's another story. Anyway, so we get there, and we're waiting for her, and all of a sudden, I see a whisper of her cry, cry, cry. And then a whisper of someone I do not know. Hey man, what's your problem? Your friend is, we're trying to get a hold of them to complain to them, and they're not replying to us. Your friend just ran the entire zone of enemies to the end of the zone, and she entered while we were going into the zone, and we were wiped by the enemies. And now there's like 20 or 30 goblins sitting outside of the zone. Because in some of the games nowadays, when you walk to new areas, like Guild Wars and stuff, you just go through. But in Final Fantasy XI, it would bottleneck into a small little area where then you could go through and it would load the next zone. At least that's what I remember. I could be wrong. And that's another story, actually. I just remembered another story. So she's crying, and these guys are yelling at me, and they're yelling at her, and they're like, your friend is stupid. Because we were just got done leveling, we wiped, I think someone de-leveled, and it was like, we were laughing our asses off because Tifa was upset. She didn't know what was going on. We were making jokes about how we were going to make t-shirts that said I was stupid or something. And so I was trying to explain to her, which is another story, so I can't get too far into it. I think I should do these stories in order now. But I was trying to explain to her what was going on. And she was upset about it, and she kept on, I think she said she was sorry and stuff, and she didn't realize when she ran from one end to the other that every single goblin in the entire zone was following her. So when she zoned to the next area, all those goblins were just sitting outside the zone. So anyone who zoned in would die. They would just get killed by all these goblins. It was just, I thought it was hilarious. It's not funny if you de-level. But yeah, there's my story of the day. And that reminds me of another story for Warcraft. I have so many stories I have to tell. Anyway, this has been Jesdamail with my segment called Story Time with Lady Punchalot. I hope you've enjoyed. I'm sorry if it was a little confusing. If it was too confusing, let me know, and I'll type a too long didn't read thing, indicating, well, long story short, we were in another zone. She ran from one end of the zone to the other end of the zone because there was no teleports back in that day, if I remember correct. You had to walk everywhere. So she went from one zone to the other zone. All the enemies came with her, and then all the enemies waited, as when people zoned in, they would kill them all, and so the goblins would never reset at that point. People were entering and leaving so quickly, and I just remembered at one point, we kept on going in and out of the zone to see if they were gone or not. Because at one point we have to leave too, and we can't, because that was the only way to get to the next area, was back to where we wanted to go, was through there. Yeah, anyway, thank you very much, and goodbye.